Testing. Okay, cool. So we should be live. Okay, so guys, we are doing a test stream at the moment. Been a very long day. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple of laps of Oultan Park in the Aston Martin Vantage V8 GD3 car. Sorry. I don't want to start off with a race on and just go back quickly and do a couple of warm-up laps and some practice on Oultan Park, the Aston Martin Vantage GD3. So I'd just like to welcome everybody. If you are currently watching, then welcome to my stream. Okay, so I have a league race coming up next week Saturday, at Oultan Park, and we're going to be racing with Aston Martin. So I haven't really got too much of a setup with the car. I haven't changed too many things. Car seems to be well balanced around this track.
Green light, give it all you can.
And all I'm gonna do is do a couple of warm-up laps. I haven't really practiced much on this track. So if you are new and you are watching the stream for the first time, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn the bell notifications on. It will be greatly appreciated. And let's go out on track. Cold tires, cold brakes. So we definitely are going to take it a bit slow. Get some temperature into the tires, heat into the brakes, and just see what we can do around Oultan Park. I am new to sim racing. I've been racing now for a couple of, I'll probably say 4 or 5 months, with about 2.5 months out. What caused me to be off stream for a while was my old PC. My graphics card blew, so I had to get a new setup. So I'm currently, if anyone is interested in what setup I'm running, is a Ryzen 5 3600 CPU, 16 gigs of Crucial Ballistics RAM, running a 512 SSD drive, also running a 1TB hard drive, and I'm running with a Gigabyte 1070 G1 8GB GPU. So yes, it is a 10 series quad, but as you can see, it runs the game perfectly fine. But as you start getting heat into the tires and heat into the brakes, and you start going a little bit faster, around the track, start pushing the car a little bit more, learning the track. I haven't driven Oultan Park at all, so also just learning where to brake, where is the best places to start applying the accelerator coming out of the corners, how much brake pressure to use, all of those types of wonderful things. I got into sim racing. I was actually watching one of these Jardia races, and thought to myself, well, I've always had a great passion for cars and motorsports, and one of these things that I could probably get into during lockdown. And I must say, I'm glad I did. If you want to know what type of equipment I'm running the Logitech G920. Logitech G920 is a great starting wheel and setup. Works perfectly fine.
Well done, mate. That's the best.
Good entry level wheel. I say entry level, but there are guys that are still racing esports that we're still using or are still using the G920. So there are various options starting from the G920 or the Thrustmaster. I think it's a TX300, which is also a direct drive wheel. It's in competition to the G920. The other Logitech product that you get is the G29. Now the difference between the Logitech G920 and the G29, as we take the wrong line through there but managed to save it, is the G920 is for Xbox and for PC, whereas missed our braking marker there. Sorry guys. The G29 is PlayStation and PC. So if you've got a PlayStation and you want to get into sim racing, your option would be then getting a bit of missing brake markers. We go for the G29. If you are Xbox, is the G920. More or less the same system. The G29 does have a couple of extra buttons for the PlayStation. Other than that, they're more or less the same setup. So you're just trying to concentrate a little bit more here. So when learning a track, you want to start off easy and try and find how the car feels. If you are completely new, my advice would be, and your question is what car to pick, well, drive them all on all the tracks. Get a feel for all the cars, all the driving characteristics of each vehicle on different tracks, and then make a decision from there. If you find a car that you are comfortable with, then go and practice on each track and play around with tire temperatures. As you see, my tire temperatures are sitting at 27.1. As we miss our braking in there too quickly. Okay, so for those guys that are new, that are busy watching and interested, you'll see the best advice one can give you in the beginning if you start losing traction or you start losing control of the car is just hold the brakes in, let the car come to a complete halt, and then continue on your merry way. Now, as I was reverting to my tire temperatures, 27.5 to 27.7 is the ideal track temperature, that tire temperature you want on a dry track in fairly good conditions like this. I joined a community. I got my kit, I started sim racing. I drove all the cars, picked the car that I felt was best suited for me and my driving style, and put in practice, because that's what it's going to take to become better at sim racing, at anything in life, any sport, any career. Takes time and practice. I am very competitive, so in the beginning it does get frustrating. That first league race is nerve-wracking, but if I can give you any advice, take it easy, learn the lines of the cars of the other guys on track, try and just follow around and relax, enjoy it, have fun. That's why we are here. We're doing some racing. Yes, you're racing in a league, and yes, you're gonna say, Hylton, but I've got a competitive nature. I think we all do. But the main thing is to have fun. There's gonna be guys that are faster, and knowing what to do if you are in that first race and you've done your qualifying and the guys are coming up, or you've got a faster car behind you coming to bend like this, just hold your line, wait for the exit, and let him through. This would be a very tricky place to let him through. Won't be easy, but say he's coming up behind us, we know we've got a chicane, we know we've got a straight, so just slow it down, go through and just short shift, stay on the right hand side, let him come through, and then carry on back onto the racing line, and try your best not to cut him off. Don't panic. That's one thing I did learn in the beginning, and one very good question that I was a bit wary of asking, but the best thing is rather ask the questions, you'll get the answers and you'll understand. Is usually if you are in a position where you can get to the right hand side of the track, then cool, so be it. If you can't, then allow him to move around you. If he sees him come past you on the right hand side, hold your line, tap off the accelerator, and just let him come past. That's the best advice I can. Don't panic. Don't try and do it in a way that you don't compromise yourself, in terms of if you have got a car fighting for position behind you. Because you would have had to do the same thing as well, is let the faster guy come through, and so it should balance itself out. I really enjoy sim racing. I enjoy racing all the time. So as we start getting used to the track, we start pushing the car a little bit more. And a little bit more, and a little bit more each section. There's going to be sections where you're not as fast as you are. And this is important to take note of. So if I know I'm faster in the last sector of the track, and I know, for example, at the beginning of the second sector through the chicane, I'm losing 0.2 of a second, but I can make it up. And to pass it and gain 0.4 of a second in the last sector, don't fight it. Just allow yourself to learn
personal fastest lap.
and push yourself each time. Practice is key. And use the track. Aim in the beginning. Try focus on hitting your apexes. Use the end, as we almost lose it there on the braking. Try and use the exits of the bends when you're coming out of a corner. Got the line a bit wrong there, it's going to slow us down. As we lost about 0.4 out of that, all because my line was wrong. That's how crucial line is in racing. If your lines are compromised, like there, try to get in the power a little bit too early, ran wide off of the curve, it bounced me to the left, and I invalidated my lap. All because I tried to get on the power a little bit early. The car caught the gravel on the left and just unfortunately bounced me left. So compromised my exits as we get twitchy coming out of the last bend. So no problem. We try again. One thing I'm gonna say, if you are new to sim racing, those ratings on the top right, don't worry about them too much. What I mean by that is, you're not going to get to high levels right off the beginning. So the important one is going to be safety rating. Focus on getting your safety rate unlocked, get it up as high as you possibly can, and everything else will happen. As long as you, when you do races against the AI or a league race, make sure that you try and keep your race as clean as possible. That is the best advice that was given to me. Don't worry where you come. If you come last in the race, you come last. It's cool. Don't worry. Try and learn something each race. So each race is a new opportunity for you to learn. I'm still learning. And if I had to give some advice to those that are new, would like to start sim racing and they don't know where to start, go and watch the likes of Jardio, James Baldwin.
Well done, mate. Your fastest lap so far.
And watch a couple of their streams. Maybe go watch a live race that they do during the week. Chat to the guys online and get a feel for the community. Join the Discord, chat to the guys, ask for advice. The guys will always be willing to help you, both in setup for setting your cars up for the community races, because they do community races like a social league, and it's usually all levels of drivers, from beginners right through to esport guys, So it's a bit better through there. All levels of drivers, ask the questions, ask for help. When you are practicing on track with them, try and learn from their lines. Try and see how often you can stay closest to the car that comes past or the car that's in front of you, and observe their racing line, observe their brake markers, observe what they do out on track. Where do they push the car? Ask questions. That's going to be your biggest help, is asking questions, and you'll see. I've had no bad experiences in the communities. Everyone's friendly. I joined Georgia community when I started in sim racing. I then, for my first racing season, I raced a couple of races and also joined on to Dutch racing, which is a very good platform as well. The guys are very helpful. I raced a full season. The car I did start with was a Ferrari 488 Evo. Very good car, very well balanced car. Can be tricky to set up sometimes, depending on the track. I moved from the Ferrari to the Audi R8 Evo, I think 60% into the season. I then went and I was watching a lot of endurance races, and I got a feeling that I would enjoy to do endurance races. So I joined on to a team that does endurance racing, and they are racing with the Aston Martin. So what I decided to do was go and pick the Aston Martin, go and practice. I'd never driven the Aston Martin, I don't know how it reacts on track, so what's the best thing to do? The same thing you did in the beginning. Pick the car, choose the track, and just put in laps. After laps, after laps. Focus on hitting the apexes, focus on your exits of the corner, and the best advice I got given, especially when it comes to control of the car, is what usually feels slow through a corner is actually quick. So slow in, fast out. Is usually the philosophy. It's usually the best and easiest way. You'll also learn where you can push the car in the corners, like not really there. You'll find it oversteering if you're on the power too harshly. So as you start driving the car more, you actually, as I get my line completely wrong there, got my line completely wrong there. You will learn the balance of the car. Running in way too hot there. And so cool, I invalidated my lap. So what? Okay, next lap starts. Where can I make up time? Where am I? Oh, just kidding. That's the other thing. This game is realistic when it comes to you've been off the track, you've gone on the grass and the sand and gravel, your tires pick up dirt. What's going to happen? You're going to get a bit of loss of traction for the next few corners or half a lap. So you just got to be cautious. You got to be aware of what your car is doing, how your car is handling. Got that. Now there was a slight panic. There it was more of, oh no, I locked up, got too much speed going into the chicane and just missed my line and my braking marker completely. So collect the info, receive the data, go, okay, cool, I know I was pushing too hard, wasn't focusing, and be focused, stay calm. That's a lot better through there. If you guys, again, just too hard into that corner, it is a very sharp corner. It's as with time, you try and give you a little bit more steering. You can slightly trail brake, but it does take skill. It just helps turn the coin a little bit more when you are driving on that edge. I'll never forget, I was practicing for a race and one of the guys asked me, but why is there such a delay in my inputs? And I was saying it's because I'm right foot braking, and he said, but you should left foot brake, you'll minimize the time delay. And I said, I've never left foot braked before. And he said to me, well, try it and just try and teach yourself how to left foot brake. Now what was happening was I was coming off the accelerator and I'd be coasting, and then I'd come out the corner and then come onto accelerator, but there was delays between the time I went from accelerator to brake and vice versa. So I was like, okay, alright, well, we are still in practice session. So I went out and I practiced left foot braking. Luckily it came quite quickly, or quite naturally should I say. I'm not quite sure that's because I've left foot braked before in real life. I've done advanced 4x4ing and different driving courses, and it does take a bit of time to get used to. I'm not going to say that you're going to go from not knowing how to left foot brake to being an absolute pro in left foot braking in a matter of 2 minutes, but like everything, it takes practice. And it just happened that because it felt natural before I got the hang of it, and I had half an hour to practice left foot braking before the race, I was actually, if I'm not mistaken, about 2 seconds faster a lap just because I left foot braked around that track. And I thought to myself, well, this should in theory work on all the tracks, and in actual fact it did. That's exactly what happened. Maybe not all the tracks I was 2 seconds faster, but I was faster. Now I've got the line wrong. I've lost a lot of time in that corner.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best.
When I started watching the races, I was asking myself, how do they leave the braking for so late? and still get the car to turn and stop, and so smoothly, so accurately. So I decided I'm going to just left foot brake. I'm going to practice for the next week's race. All I'm going to practice is left foot braking around the track. And I think we were racing Kyalami that next race, and my times prior to braking with the left foot was 147s, 148s, and when I left foot brakes I was doing 144, 145, and I was learning where to push the car, where I can push the car, where not to push the car too hard. And I almost made the same mistake again by running a bit wide on that exit, using lock up. Oh, I missed my braking marker, trying to push it a little bit too much. That's fine, we've kind of kept it there. Okay, so let's pop into the pits quickly and let's see what we can see. So this is very nice with being able to come to the pits, jump into your replays. The nice thing with this option is you can change your camera angle. I like to watch from helicopter view because so you can see your line that you're driving on the track. You can see the racing line, you can see what line you're on, and as you can see when we're coming around this bend, you follow the car, you try and follow the dark strip on the track is usually the racing line, and a little bit slow, yes, sort of hit the apex, very late on the accelerator there. I could have come onto the power a little bit early. Again, I haven't spent much time practicing on this track, I haven't really raced on this track, but I'm starting to get a feel the car and the track combination. So the race is on Wednesday next week. I do believe we have a bit of time just to kind of fine tune a couple of things, but I really do enjoy racing, and this kind of feels that passion. You see we used exit was great on that lap, on coming out of that corner. Yeah, you can just skip across, you can go to different laps. There was a mistake there. You can just go back and you can actually see how I brake myself into that section of the bend. That's fine. Could have used a little bit more momentum, a little bit more speed through there. But coming down here, our car's not really in the right position. I braked myself, didn't quite. You see, it's hopping around. It wasn't too bad actually. Looking at that replay, I honestly think it was the lap before that. Yeah, it was. So if you see it's wide on that exit, it's lost that momentum, lost that little bit of focus coming over the crest, and ran too wide there, braked too late, line in was way too wide. Missed the braking mark completely there. If you compare that to this line, you can see there's a little bit more better. The cars are more or less on a better line going through the early turning and apex on the great exit. So the replay allows you to actually just go through your laps, check your lines, see where you can better. There I braked myself completely, wasn't focusing, and really just wasn't paying attention. Again, there's a very wide line into turn 1. If you have a look at how much room I've got on the inside of this bend to come into this apex, that's leaving enough room for a car to come through on the apex, honestly. So let's see what we can try and do. How does the times look? 144 all the way down, okay, start getting better. 141.7. Let's go and do an extra lap or two, just get the tires up to temp, the brakes up to temp, and let's see what difference we can make if we focus on getting our apexes, hitting our apexes, focus on the exit of the corners without trying to drive any faster, without trying to push the car any harder. Let's see what we can do. Just get some brake heat into the brakes, just get some tire temperatures correct here, and just with focusing maybe on just smoother, better lines in some sections of the track, what we can do when it comes to better lines. Let's see if we can cut some time. And build some tire temperature in here. Car is a bit loose still. It's just not turning in his cold tires. Trying to get the tires just to build up some heat. Looked a bit better. Earlier on the power, use the exit of the corner to build some more momentum. Keep as tight as possible. Early on the power as we can. Not finding any more time, yeah. Actual fact, we lost time. So not now. That chicane is not the strongest part of my advantage on this track. So, like, I could say, okay, cool. If I know I'm gonna lose 2/10 out of that section of the track, where can I strengthen my time in the last sector or the first sector to kind of counteract, that was better, to counteract that misfortune. There goes the end. That's what I was talking about. If you are not patient on the exit of the bend, you can light the rears up and potentially kiss your lap goodbye. In that case, it's exactly what happened. Just too impatient getting the power down, trying to stamp on the throttle opposed to just applying a little pressure on the throttle a little bit more gently, so allowing the car to keep traction. If you're going to stand on the throttle coming out of a slow corner, it's going to light the rears up. Not that quick in that section. When you use a little bit of, lost a little bit of time through there as well, just being over cautious. Line this corner up a little bit better, carry some more speed and momentum through here, and try and make back some time. And there's a much better last corner. Made almost half a second up.
Fastest lap.
There again, it was a little bit more aggressive into turn one. Trying to balance the throttle and the brake into that corner. It worked. Set the car up for this wonderful roller coaster. Now we have lost, this is a section we lose time, so kind of try and get the car through a little bit more quicker that time around. That was actually, it felt a lot better there. It really did. The car, wait for it on the power, utilize the exit of the bend. Tuck it in the inside here. No. It's a wide line. Definitely lost a lot of time there. When you find some time here, when you touch and go. No, let's try again. Find quite a bit of time there, strangely enough. Really starting to push it a little bit. Really trying to get the most I can out of the car at the moment. That was fantastic. That was my best chicane. That's what happens when everything starts clicking and you start finding the confidence in the car and the track together. Everything just starts coming together. Oh no. There's an example of what to do if we lose it. Hold the brakes in until the car comes to a stop. We've cooked the tires. That was unfortunate because That was really unfortunate. That was going to be a sub 140 time. See what happened there is got too excited, glanced down, saw the data and knew, why can't, if I push it a little bit more, can break, can find 2 seconds where I should have just kept my nerve. And get these tires to cool down a bit. Now the only caution part of that is once you lock up and you skid is a couple of things can happen. You can get a flat spot on your tire. You can, which means your tires are then pretty much rendered. You'll have to go and pit, get a new set of tires and carry on racing. Not feeling too bad with the tires at the moment. Just need them, just to, let's try and cool them down in the grass a bit. There we go, because this temperature's a little bit down. Does mean I've got dirt on my tires now, but let's see. Quite surprised I lost it there because let's go for another lap. Let's see what we can do. So getting back to we'll find some time. Running wide on this corner, losing too much time there. But we're still up on our data, so let's just keep everything cool. See what we can do here on this lap. A nice tight line for you. Lost a bit of time there. You start learning the car and the car's behavior, and that's where you'll know what to do the moment the rear end steps out. You'll feel it, you're going to anticipate it, you feel it in the force feedback. Ideas, keep your arms nice and relaxed, don't panic, and just keep it as smooth as possible through that section of the track. Wait for the safer option there on that exit.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best.
It's a big slide. Okay, let's go back to the garage. Let's see what happened with that lap, where we kind of put it into, as Super GT calls it, the shadow realm. You can see so I think this is the start of that lap, where it all went pear-shaped for us at the end. Lines are, you see, there it is there, and we just, it's unfortunate. It was just on that exit. That's why I'm saying it's so vitally important to get your entry, and your entry was fine going into the corner. It was just the exit. That's it. Lack of concentration, ran wide on the exit and caught the gravel. Now if you compare the two, this is the very next lap, so it was a bit of an out lap. It was just really getting the car back. If we come to the last lap now, coming through the same section, you'll notice, yes, I'm pushing more or less the same in terms of lap time, a couple of tenths off. So the key is good apex, good exit. Didn't want to push too much of the limit of that exit again, otherwise we would have had the same result. So coming through here, keeping a tighter line, the car's in a better position, and just making sure that the exit was perfect. So if that cost me 0.2 of a second, then so be it. Again, played the second to last corner off very safely. That's exactly why we're doing this, is so that we can build a a little bit. I mean, if you have a look at that, it was just a little bit too late on the brakes. There's braking into turn 1, and yeah, it's just carrying too much speed, missed the brake marker quite a bit, and that was exactly what happened there. God just slid out wide. Not too badly, we didn't go into the shadow realm there, but it is what it is, I guess. So nice function about this is you can actually study your lap times, what you're doing around the track. You can save your highlights, and you can go back and you can practice, and you can make changes if you should choose to, or if you choose to, that's great. So 1 minute 40, it's not bad. It's probably, if I had to guess, maybe 4 seconds off of alien pace. I think they're doing 134s, could be up to 6 seconds off. I'd have to double check, but if I take a 144, I'll take it every day at this stage. Is there some time left? Yes, sure there is. Is there ways setup, how much the setup's going to make an effect? That all determines on, are you racing on the right racing line? Are you hitting the right braking markers? Are you hitting your apexes? Is your exit to your coordinates right? Are you maintaining the right tire pressures? Then when you start tweaking around the suspension and air ducts and stuff like that. So I'm talking about is climbing into the setup and start playing around with traction control and ABS, and on your fuel mechanical grip, so you can change your bump stop rates and your suspension setups and your anti-roll bar setups. Some guys do increase their preload differential just to maybe help turn the car in a bit better. Brake bias maybe a bit high, so you're having 64% of the brake pressure going to the front, maybe bring a bit back. Could also be could also help turn the car in a little bit better. There are ways to keeping the car a little bit better. There's always a tweak here too there you can do. For example, this is a very bumpy track, and just something I'm thinking here is the car feels stable to me on the track at the moment. If it didn't, if the car is bouncing off of braking markers and I was losing control on the braking to a degree where I couldn't control it, and I felt the car was bouncing too much, then maybe raise the ride height couple mils, 3 or 4 mils on the front, 1 or 2 at the back, and maybe then increase the wing or decrease the wing. You play around with that. Brake ducts, my brake temperatures are fine, so not overcooking the brakes, which is a good thing. But more than that, that's all practice. It all comes down to how much time you spend practicing the track with the car that you've chosen. So again, just to recap, if you are new to sim racing, welcome. If you're wanting to know what car to start off with, GD3, GD4, try them all. Try them all on each track. Get a feel for what you find better. I love GD3 cars. I think they're phenomenal. They're great handling, their downforce. It's a very nice car to race on the track. The thing is, go through Aston Martin, the Lexus. If you want to know the easiest way or safest handling cars, things like your Lexus, your Bentley Continental GT, as much as a Bentley seems to be a big car, it actually handles very well for its size. It's not ridiculously slower than any of the other cars. The Ferrari is a very good balanced vehicle, but remembering it's rear engine and rear wheel drive, or mid engine rear wheel drive, it can make it tricky to set up depending on the track, depending on experience. It may take you a bit longer, but it's a fun car to drive. I started with a Ferrari, I then went to the Audi, and now I'm with the Aston Martin, simply because when I do my endurance races, I'm going to be racing with Aston Martin. So to me, it only makes sense that even in my social league races, even in my practices, I practice with the car that I'll be doing my endurance races. Not only from, there's many benefits to it, I learn the car and its characteristics on each track and all the behavioral issues. So when it comes down to setup, and tweaking the setup, you understand the car that you're racing a lot better than if you just had a hop from car to car to car. I did that right in the beginning when I started on console. I'm now running, don't have a console anymore, only racing on PC. And if you are in that space where you're asking yourself the question, console versus PC has got more of a realistic feel for my thoughts. The characteristics are a bit different than console, and then again you've got your frames per second they're playing a role in your GPU and your PC setup. Like I mentioned, if there are people watching or do watch the stream, I am currently running a Ryzen 5 3600 CPU with the Asus B550 Prime motherboard, 16 gig Crucial Ballistics gaming RAM, a 512 SSD drive or 1 terabyte hard drive, and yes, it is a 10 series, a gigabyte 1070 G1 OC 8 gig card. Fantastic card. There's no stuttering, I get no issues, the game runs smoothly. So for a 10 series card, I've had no performance issues whatsoever. No bottlenecking on my GPU, no bottlenecking at all on my CPU. So I couldn't be any more happier than what I am currently with my setup. So this was really just a test stream. I am a bit blabbling on now at the moment. I hope for those that do watch the video that they find this interesting. Please, if you have any questions, please leave your comments below. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and hit that like button. Turn your bell notifications on. I will be streaming more often. If I'm not mistaken, we have 5 or 6 races left of this season, and all of the races on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. I will be putting reminders up. I am on Discord. I will actually leave my Discord link in the let's see if I can get it here quickly. My Discord link in the either in the description, or I'll put it up on the chat. Okay, I can't really open it right now. It's got an update. So I will leave my details in the description below for those that are watching the video that would like to follow me on Discord. And we'll be streaming races for the next 5 to 6 weeks. Every Wednesday at 8. I will be also playing other games like Warzone. And yeah, we'll definitely like to see more viewers. And if you've got any questions, you've got, for those that are already sim racing that come across my video, please, if you've got any advice, any tips, please feel free, leave your comments below. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, subscribe and turn the bell notifications on, and we'll definitely see you around next time. Cheers guys.